Q1 and
All right.
we are live, Yash. We are live.
Awesome. 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 Thank you, Aisha. And thank you to anyone and everyone who are here with us today. Thank you for joining us. We are here with Techie. Just so you guys know, those of you who are joining us, Techie is a coding platform and a computer science platform that works with thousands of students across the world. So, we're really, really glad to have all of you here. Whoever is here, I do see that there are a bunch of students who have joined. So, whoever is here, please do let us know where you guys are from. So, put it in the chat. We're all on YouTube Live. So, you may see the chat option on the right. This is a live chat as well. So, I'll get to see all the chats that are coming in. Do let me know where we are from, what city we're from. If you're from Bombay, just say Mumbai or Bombay. Say Delhi if you're from Delhi, Bangalore. I'd love to see where the students are from. But as and when we're going with this, to anyone who's just joined us, thank you for being here. My name is Yash, and today we're going to be doing a very special workshop. We're going to be doing a workshop on note taking because exam season is around the corner. We're all getting started, right? We're all getting these final exams wrapped up. We're just trying to get done with this so we can go into our vacation. So if you're trying to get your studies done right, and if you want to effectively study, not work hard, but work smart, today we're going to be talking about working smart. So if you want to work smart, if you want to take notes effectively and be able to publish something and be able to ace your exams that are coming next month or in March, you're in the right spot. So I do see that some people have put their locations in the chat. Someone's from Uttar Pradesh, Nena and Aryan Show. Welcome. I also see Harshit. I also see Navneet, Hyderabad, and Batinda, Punjab. Welcome, welcome. Awesome. Anybody else who's joined us as well, I do see that there's quite a few people in the room. So please do go ahead and drop the location that you're from in the chat so we know where you're from then. Right now it looks like this crowd is from all over India. So really, really glad to see this diverse crowd. Let's see. Aisha, when would you like me to start? Do you want me to wait for another few minutes? I do see that there's people joining in steadily.
Yeah, I think we can wait for another 2 minutes and then start.
Awesome. All right. Let me know which schools you guys are from as well in the meantime, because we're waiting on 2 more minutes just so that more people can join. So, what schools are we from? Drop the name of your school in the chat. Drop the name of your school in the chat. Nana and Aryan Show, Harshit and Navneet. Love to know you guys. Love to know where you guys are from and which school you guys go to. So, do let me know what is the name of your schools as well. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. We have 12 people total right now. So awesome, awesome. So those of you who've just joined us, don't worry, we haven't started yet. We're just getting warmed up. We're going to start in the next 1 or 2 minutes. Welcome if you're here for the first time. And we have a live chat going on. So please drop your location or your school name, wherever you guys are from. That'll give us a good idea. Nana and Aryan Show, St. Teresa, Navneet Maths. I'm from Army Public School, Batinda. Sarita says she's from Chavi Chandra from Faridabad. Awesome. So we have someone from Faridabad, we have someone from Batinda, someone's here from Hyderabad, Uttar Pradesh, Little Flower Schools, Little Flower High School, Abits. Okay. Montfort High School, Assam. Awesome. We have someone from Assam as well. So as I said, all over India, we got people in the room from all over India. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Saint Anthony's, right? Archana says she's from Bihar. Sarita is from St. Anthony's Secondary School. Muyong is from Montfort High School, Assam. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. We have quite a crowd in the audience right now. This is amazing. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Given that it is 6:05 p.m., we're 5 minutes in. Let's go ahead and get started. Can I get a get started in the chat if we're ready to get started? Just drop the message, get started, and we are ready to go. So I am going to share my screen. Today, as I mentioned earlier, we are going to be doing a workshop on note taking. Exam season is around the corner, guys. We all have to take notes. If there's one thing that has remained common in schooling since I was in school, right, it is the fact that we all have to always take notes, because note taking is extremely important. Some of you may think of this though, like, some of you who may be in secondary school, right? 9th or 10th standard kids, you may be like, well, I never go back and look at my notes. So what's the point of taking notes? Some of you may think that note taking is pointless. And that's fair. When I was your age, I was thinking note taking is pointless as well. I used to have a horrible handwriting. I still do. I still have a horrible handwriting. I used to have a horrible handwriting, and never, my books never looked pretty when I used to take notes. And so I would always get, my teachers would always scream at me that, why aren't you taking notes? But when I went to college, when I started working, when I started getting into the real world, I can assure you that note taking is one of the few skills that you will learn in schools that actually carry on to the real world. When you start working in the real world, you're there for yourself. And so any skill that you have will help you, no matter what it is. And so note taking is something that is extremely underrated, which means that not many people think of it as a great skill, but trust me, it is a great skill. In the chat, in the meantime, can I get the students to tell me what grade are we from? Because I need to know which standard do we have students here from? Which standard are we from? Are we in the primary? Are we in secondary, fourth standard, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, maybe? Do let me know. Do let me know what standard you all are from. This is a summary of the event that we're having today. All that you'll be learning in the next 30 to 45 minutes. Number one, we're going to learn to take notes. Number two, we're going to learn how we can get started. If you've never taken properly notes before, or if you've taken great notes up till now, both of you are welcome in this, because you both are going to learn something new. Techniques for effective note writing. There's not just one way to do effective note writing. There's several techniques to do proper note writing. Okay. So how is it? Hold on just 1 second. There you go. All right. Oh, I see that people are giving me the standards. 9th standard, 6th standard, 4th standard. Okay, pretty decent. The different techniques of effective note taking that we're going to be talking about. Number one, flashcards. I hope people know what flashcards are, but today we're going to learn exactly how flashcards can help us in note taking. The two main note taking methods that we're going to learn is mind maps and the outline method. So mind maps and outline method are two of the most used note taking methods. And for people who think of themselves as creatives, for people who think of themselves as analytical, both of these tools are extremely effective, and we're going to learn exactly how. In the end, we're going to do some note-taking exercises, and that should be it. All right. So why take notes? Why is it that we should take notes? If you read the first statement, I'm sure most of you will relate to this, right? That have you found yourself forgetting what was said during lectures and being unable to remember answers of questions on tests? When I was a student, I remember that in the class, I used to love to raise my hand and talk. I never got great marks in tests, but I was a good student. I was one of those students who would pay attention in class, but I would never get good marks in exams. So I remember in history, we used to have lectures on like Ashoka and the Ashoka Empire and all these things. And I would remember, I would know exactly what the chapter is about. But by the time the test came, I would always blank. I would have no idea what to write in the test. I would write the wrong answers, even though I know the right answer. And later on, after walking out of the test, I would realize that, oh my God, I knew this was the answer, but I didn't choose it. So that's one of the biggest reasons why students who are hardworking, students who want to be able to get good marks, who want to be able to get good academic performances, this is one of the biggest reasons why these well-minded students do not end up getting good marks. Note-taking helps you with 5 areas. And these 5 areas can be noted down as it helps you understand subjects. If you take notes while you're understanding something in the lecture, even if you don't come back and look at those notes, even if you just write it once and forget about that paper ever, you will still have a better understanding. There's one of everybody knows who Amir Khan is, right? Like the actor. There's one of the things that we all know about Amir Khan that he has actually spoken about in his own interviews, that whenever he's working on a movie, right, he always writes down his script so that he can memorize the lines that he has to say in the movie. Like that's one of the things that he's been doing for almost every movie that he's done. So if someone like Amir Khan, who is such a huge Bollywood actor, he's known around the world, he's done such great movies, despite doing that, if he still writes notes at the age of 50 above, think about it, we're all young. We should all be able to do that as well. Number two, helps with memory retention. This is one of the big reasons why Amir Khan actually does it as well. And this is one of the big reasons you should do it as well. Memory retention simply means the ability to retain information, which means the ability to remember something after you have studied it, right? If you read something in your textbook and then you keep it down, what is the likelihood that you'll remember what you read tomorrow? That is memory retention. To increase that, people write notes as well. Finally, what we're here for, it helps with exam revision. Today, we're going to learn specific tools about how exam revision can be made better using note taking. And of course, the last two ones are helps writing. If you feel like you have bad handwriting, the only way to make good handwriting is by writing a lot. And useful record of information. Say you want to write a book, say you want to keep notes or something, you can write it down and you can keep it somewhere and you can come back to it and look at it later. I'll tell you one thing for sure, because I know a lot of you students are in the 6th standard, a lot of you in the 9th or 10th, some in the primary school, right? When you take notes at this age and then you just leave it, and then 5-6 years later, when you're like an adult, like someone who's in the 9th standard, right? 5-6 years from now, you'll probably be an adult. If you come back and you look at those notes, you'll be able to really remember how the world was back when you took it. So, it's a useful record of information as well. How do we get started? How do we get started with this? How do we get started with actual note taking? There are two types of note taking that you need to remember. Number one, there's in-class notes. Number two, there's out-class notes. In-class notes are notes that you take when you're inside the classroom, when you're listening to a lecture, when your teacher is speaking to you. There's some very smart students who will always be writing notes, even as the teacher is just talking. That is in-class notes. That is taking notes when you're in a lecture room. When all of you go to college, this is what you will be doing most of the time. Out-class notes are notes that you take when you're trying to revise something, when you're not in a classroom, when you're maybe reading a book, or maybe you're trying to read your textbook for exams and revise for exams. That's out-class notes. So what we're going to learn today is going to be effective on both in-class notes and out-class notes. Let's talk about the specific note-taking tools now. Specific note-taking tools that will help us in our quest. The first one is flashcards. The second one is mind maps. The third one is outline method. If you've just joined us, don't worry about it, because we're just going to get started with actually what note-taking really looks like. The first one is flashcards. Okay, has anybody used flashcards in the audience? Like, let me know by yes or no in the audience if you've ever used a flashcard. Flashcards look something like this. Okay, maybe actually I might just find a better image online. I don't really think this image is better. So let's see, let me show you what a flashcard looks like. Okay, it's something like this, if you guys have seen. I don't know if anybody has used something like this, where on one side of the page, you can write all the answers, and on the other side of the page, you write questions. If you look at this kind of flashcard, this makes sense, right? On the left-hand side, you have the fill in the blank questions. And on the right-hand side, you have the answers. She was in blank of tears, floods. If you want to essentially write a question and then you're trying to essentially understand the answer for it. Flashcards are extremely effective in this. We're not going to be making flashcards, so don't worry about this too much right now, because to make a flashcard, you're going to have to need paper, and we don't want to use paper a lot today. Like you need like these little small rectangular papers. But I want you to know that later on, if you ever find these rectangular papers, don't waste them, because they are extremely effective when you try to use them as a note-taking tool. The second one, and the one that we're going to be working on today, is called mind maps. This is visual note-taking. This is note-taking for the creative minds. All of you who consider yourselves as creatives, right? Like, I don't like writing, man. I love drawing though. Like, there might be some of you who might be better artists or better people, better drawers than like writers. This is the kind of note-taking that you can do that may not be acceptable in school. I'll be very honest with you. School may look at this and be like, what is this? This is not the notes I want. But for you, this will be the best way that you can possibly take notes. We're going to look at a way we do mind maps as well. The best way to explain how mind maps works is, let me show this to you right here. And all of you can follow along with me as I'm doing this, by the way. Feel free to follow along with me. Don't seem to. There you go. Just 1 second, guys. I'm going to open something for all of you. And then let's see. There you go. There we go. All right. So I'm going to open a class 7 CBSE note thing that I had made on my own thing. Okay. So this is something that you can do for your own thing. Like, you can use, say, your textbook for this. I'm going to use this simply because it's much easier for me to use this. So I'm going to use this as my primary tool. That this is where I'm learning all my notes from. Okay. So think about it this way now. Nutrition in plants is my subject. I want to be able to take a mind map level note of this. So this is how I would do it. And you can follow along with me in your notebooks if you want. So let's see. Nutrition in plants. And I can just put this inside a big circle. And now from here, I know that nutrition in plants has different kinds, right? Like there's, number one, there's photosynthesis that I need to remember. So I'm going to write photosynthesis here. And just to give an example, I can write something like, this is how plants survive. Sorry about my handwriting. Now, same thing goes with another thing. What else is in the in plant nutrition that works out? There's something called as chlorophyll as well that I need to remember for the exam. So I'm going to write that down as well. Then comes another one here. Let's say another thing about nutrition in plants is all about the anatomy of a plant, right? Like what is the root, what is the stem, what is the leaves. So I'm going to write anatomy. And below this, I'm going to write the specific option, roots, stems. I hope people are understanding how we're doing this. Can I get a yes or no in the chat if we're understanding how mind maps works in this section? I'm not teaching you nutrition in plants. I'm teaching you how I can take notes in nutrition in plants. And the way I can do that using mind maps specifically. Another part, for example, of how I can add in nutrition in plants is, what else is remaining here? The effect of sunlight, for example. These are just examples. Clear? Yes, no in the audience? I got one no, I think. Anybody else in the audience? Do we understand this? Anatomy is just like body parts. You can consider this as body parts, for example. Don't worry about the words. I'm just writing them down. But I'm trying to show you how a mind map would work specifically. So this is how we would work there. I'll give you another example. I'll give you a fun example, okay? A fun example of how I want to take notes. Say I'm trying to take notes of the Avengers. Okay, say I'm watching Avengers and I need to prepare a note on it. I need to prepare some research material on it, right? Avengers the movie, right? And I'm going to take notes on Avengers the movie. Here's how those notes would look like. Number one, I'm going to talk about Iron Man. Number two, I'm going to talk about Captain America. Who else is in Avengers? Number three, I'm going to talk about Black Widow. Then there is, I don't know who else is there. I'm forgetting Hulk, right? Yeah, Hulk is in the Avengers, and so is Thor. So if I'm taking notes on the Avengers, I know these are the main characters in the Avengers, right? So all I have to really do is create a map of this. That's what I'm doing here. I'm creating a map. See? So and now if I want to take specific notes on the Thor, I can make notes here. Like he is the son of some god, right? Like he's the son of God, god of thunder, sent to earth, etc. So this is exactly how it is. Harshit says mind mapping is shown in Sherlock Holmes. Are you talking about the one with the movie, or you're talking about the TV show? Harshit, you can let me know which one. You have seen Sherlock Holmes, Game of Shadows. I think that's a movie, no? Yeah, that might be the movie. But yeah, that's a, if you've seen the movie, then that's what it is. This is how mind maps work. Does that make sense, everybody? Give me a yes or no in the audience. I'll wait for the yes or no. But okay, this is essentially how mind maps will be working. So whenever your subject comes in, whatever your subject is, say your subject is, you're talking about, again, right? Like we're talking about, say, history, right? And say one of the chapters in history is World War, not World War. I don't think you guys have done World War yet. Let's say Ashoka, right? I just talked about Ashoka the Emperor, right? So if Ashoka the Emperor is my mind map note-taking example that I'm going to use, I am going to first talk about who is Ashoka, right? He is the grandson of Chandragupta Maurya. Same thing goes with here. When did he rule? He, the years that he ruled. What else is there? Ashoka had how primary occupations in the empire. So back then, people used to do hunting, people used to do farming, people used to be traders. You see how effective this becomes to do this. So that is what mind map is. I'm going to move on from mind map now, and I'm going to go straight into our next topic, which is the outline method. So the mind map method is pretty straightforward for people who are creatives, who love to draw, who love to, just like map it out. Like someone talked about Sherlock in there, right? Sherlock is like considered to be one of those logical and creative people who can really think about and visualize things very nicely. So this is for visual people. Now, if you're someone who loves reading and writing, who wants to be very straightforward in their approach in terms of making notes, this is an effective way of doing that as well. The outline method is basically a method used everywhere, in school, in lectures, in college, at work. If you've normally taken notes, you've probably, without even realizing it, you've probably taken notes in the outline method. And I'll explain how that works. Say I want to take notes about that Avengers thing I talked about, right? I want to do that Avengers thing again. So my first thing that I would write is Avengers. Ooh, someone just said, okay. So if Avengers is the first thing I'm going to write, the sub point becomes, first is Iron Man, then comes Captain America, then comes, say, Thor. And within this, I can write sub points of Iron Man, Tony Stark, real name, What's the next one on Iron Man? Gadgets and tech superhero. This is how we would take notes for the same Avengers thing, but this time instead of drawing it out, I am writing it down. Right? For Captain America, what was he? He was frozen for 100 years or something like that, right? Like he was frozen for some time. Thor, again, son of God. So this is how we could effectively take notes during the outline method, using the outline method. What would an academic version of this look like? Let's talk about the same thing. The Ashoka Empire. Say the chapter is Ashoka again, right? This time the chapter is Ashoka. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the first point. First point is, who is Ashoka? And then I can write subpoints as grandson, Maurya dynasty. What else is there? Ruler of the biggest empire in India, right? These are some points. Another point I could write is number 2. What else is there, right? Occupations. And so back then, the occupations in the textbook were written as farming, hunting. Some used to do trading. Some were merchants. This is how the outline method works. This is the most traditional form of writing notes. And this is how the outline method essentially works in general. It's the same thing. But instead of drawing it out, it's more analytical. It's more straightforward. If you don't want any BS and if you want to straight just focus on the information, this is one of the best ways to do it. And that brings us towards the end of this session. Aisha, I believe we are at an end. We don't have a quiz, Aisha, for these guys, right?
No, we don't. We are running
Okay.
out of time.
Awesome.
But I think in the coming sessions we will have quizzes. So
All right. Cool. So you heard Aisha. Thank you all for being here. I hope this was a informational session for all of you who are trying to take notes for better exam results. This is just, again, this was very high level funda. So I want all of you to go back to your homes and use this to be able to properly take notes. I also want to show you guys something interesting. I want all of you who are present here to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So Techie essentially has a YouTube channel. If you want to be able to understand these new information, new age skills and all these 21st century skills that are out there, you should be able to subscribe to Techie as well. So please do subscribe to Techie. We have about 2,500 subscribers already and some really cool videos for all of you who are trying to learn computer science and any new age technology skill. So hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon, stay updated on all of our cool stuff that we're going to be bringing for all of you guys. And let's see, is there anything else, Aisha?
no, that's about it.
That's about it. Thank you all for being here. Do subscribe. Please do subscribe if you like this session. We'll be hosting many such sessions. This was on note taking. We're going to have many more sessions for you guys to develop your skills as and when things are going. During the summer vacation as well, we'll be introducing a lot of fun, a lot of interdisciplinary skills for all of you as well. So thank you all for being here. And I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Do hit subscribe to us before you leave this meeting. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Aisha.
Thanks, Yash.
Awesome. See you guys. Bye-bye.